Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter Show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorda. I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib. We got a great show for you today. And if you want to call in and ask questions, you can call in right now at 323-870-3857. And tonight, Beeb, I'm not going to I'm telling you, I said it last week that fight was not going to happen. I think I'm wrong here. We're going to talk about the welterweight showdown. I think it's happening. Spence versus Crawford is going to happen. I will tell you what we know. But first, we're going to get started with ESPN, Beeb. The main event, baby. The main event on ESPN last night. Duke Reagan versus D'Angelo Fuentes. 6 rounds featherweights. Duke Reagan easily outpoints Fuentes by the scores of 58-56 twice, and I thought that was a little close. 59-55, I thought that was a little close too. Fuentes was unbeaten, came into this fight, but listen, man, Duke Reagan's from Cincinnati. He's simply no match for people like us. You know what I'm saying? Reagan, much stronger, much faster, basically just an all-around better boxer. You know, if he doesn't have world champion written on him, I don't know who does. He's got all the intangibles. And Beeb, he's definitely my prospect of the year. Hey, Beeb, I don't know if I mentioned this. Did I mention he's from Cincinnati?
Goes without saying.
Already main event in ESPN, Daddy. Already main event in ESPN. There it is. You can't have it better, man. You're talking about Duke Reagan, baby. Cincinnati's own, son. Titletown, baby.
Titletown.
When was the last guy that you can remember with this level of, this many fights, starting his career, main eventing ESPN?
Unprecedented.
Unprecedented, right?
For sure.
Main event, son.
You're not going to get an argument out of me, man.
Beautiful fight. Duke Reagan, congratulations. That's right. And now for the co-main event was Teofimo Lopez versus Pedro Campa. 10 rounds, junior welterweights. Teofimo Lopez stopped Pedro Campa in the 7th round. Look, man, Teo looked good in this fight. He worked with good. He did good work with combinations, broke Campa down, and finally ended it in the 7th. He looked good, but to me, he seemed a little bit slower at this weight, man. Just a step slower. And I'll be honest, I don't know if it was the weight. I don't know if it was the layoff. I don't know if it was only the 2 weeks of sparring. I don't know, fill in any other excuse that he gave prior to this fight. But listen, Pedro Campa was expected to be a doormat here. And I'll be honest, man, that really wasn't the case, man. Pedro Campa was trying to win. Pedro Campa was not winning rounds. But Pedro Campa did not lay down either. You know, he was there. He was fighting. He was trying to. And at some point, you saw Teo take a round off. I think it was around the 5th or 6th. I think it was around the 5th round or whatever. He took that round off or whatever. I didn't really give him any. I didn't give him any rounds. I thought Teo swept the fight. But again, I thought that Teo looked okay. But this guy was fighting. This was a good match for him. But then I start thinking about the Teo we used to see. Would the fight really have went that long? Would he have had that many problems? I don't know. Man. We'll see. After the fight, of course, he called out all the champions at 140. He called out, all the other ones. I think Regis Prograis annihilates this guy. I think Josh Taylor annihilates this guy. I think either one of them beat him. And I think either one of them beat him pretty sound. Teo's not the same dude, man. And listen, I love Teo. I like Teo. His father's been on the show. We love his father. He just doesn't seem like he's the same guy. Weird things, like I said, man, only sparring 2 weeks, but what is that all about? Why would he only spar 2 weeks? Again, in Beeb, I think you're hitting it right on the head. It's a mental thing. I think it's a mental thing, man.
As long as this man has his father as his trainer, he will never become world champion ever again. And that is some strong. That is some strong, harsh statements, right? You mentioned
that is harsh.
You mentioned something, right?
Yeah.
You said he looked good. He wasn't supposed to look good. He was supposed to look great against a guy.
Yeah.
He's supposed to look great. There's no more just looking okay, right?
And, I would agree with that.
Here's the thing. What do we always say? When we're in there watching a fighter, when he's in there with respect, a lower level guy, a guy that is several levels below him, we're not really gauging his performance based off of what's in front of him. We're envisioning him against the Josh Taylors, against the Regis Prograis, against the Jose Ramirez, against the Jack Catteralls, against those guys, against the Ryan Garcias. And I'm going to make another very strong statement. He doesn't beat any one of them, in my opinion. And
he doesn't beat Ryan Garcia?
I don't even think he beats Ryan Garcia. And I'll explain to you why. Ryan Garcia does have his flaws, but one thing I do admire about Ryan Garcia, right? When he is in a fight, he is switched on. He's focused. There's no up and down, fighting down to the level of my opposition. Every fight is approached the same way, and he fights to win. There's no complacency. There's no, excuses beforehand. There's no excuses after. He is locked in. And when you're at this level, right, you shouldn't have to have that switch where you have to turn it on and turn it off. It should always be on, right? You should never be up and down. And Ryan Garcia is consistent in the way he fights, and he's actually has gotten better, in my opinion. He's shown improvement, in my opinion, where Teofimo Lopez has regressed. Why has he regressed? Because when your dad's in your ear every 5 minutes, yeah, you're the best, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Nobody's that good, right? So when you don't have an objective person as your trainer, then you don't have anything to work on in your mind. So we talk about cocky, and then we talk about confident, right? To me, what cocky is when you use your confidence in an irresponsible way. What does that mean, B? You're getting all psychological on me right now. You're in there with a guy, you're preparing for a fight. Because you're in there with a guy, Pedro Campa, I'm only going to spar 2 weeks for this guy. I'm going to go in the ring, lie on the ropes, try to do this bullshit shoulder roll, have my fucking right hand down by my nipple, get hit with stupid shit because it's only Pedro Campa.
Yeah.
Okay? So it's like a guy who comes in late every day at work and his boss never says nothing to him. One day his boss may get fired and the new guy comes in. Then you try to come in late every day, right? What happens? That boss gets in your ass, right? So if you think you can play around when you're in there with certain guys, right? Then that's how you develop bad habits. So you don't switch it on and off, right? You don't say, we're only going to spar 2 weeks for this fight. We're training differently now. This whole thing about working smarter and not harder, that's a bunch of bullshit. You know what I mean? You fight smarter, right? You have a strategy, right? So you game plan, right? Smarter, but you always train hard. Now, you have to train and do things that are applicable to the task at hand, right? If certain things you're doing are detrimental to what's happening in the ring, if you're doing certain things that are hurting you in your performance in the ring, then you get rid of them. But sparring is not one of those things. No one's telling you to spar all 8 weeks, but you got to spar more than 2 weeks, right? So this
I would think, especially at this level.
This whole mentality of his dad telling him he's the greatest, when you're told you're the greatest and you're awesome and you're this, you're that, right? And you're not being challenged, you're not being pressed, you're not being instructed to get better and improve on things. And when you lose, it's a conspiracy. It's because of this, it's because of that, it's all these other factors. The fix was in. Meanwhile, Kambosos, the zone's going to do Kambosos favors for what? Kambosos fought on ESPN his next fight with Top Rank. So what alignment did he have with for fucking the zone? Like what motive did they have to do Kambosos' favor? So that's my problem with this kid. You have all the ability in the world, but it's going to be undermined because of your mentality, because of the psychological makeup of who you are as a person. And then you knock this guy out and you act like you just hit the Powerball. Like you just fucking knocked out Godzilla. That would be like me playing Ringside Robbie one-on-one. He takes it strong to the hoop, and I swat him. Of course I'm going to swat him. Do I jump up and down like I just swatted Shaq? No, because Ringside Robbie's 5'2" and I'm 6 feet. So you got to keep things in context.
I don't know, man. I heard he's got game. I heard he can ball. That's what I heard.
Yeah, he's good at fucking Jeopardy. But here's the thing.
I don't think he's that good at Jeopardy.
Or Scrabble, whatever. But here's the thing. So this whole team of Team Lopez, their lack of self-awareness is the problem, right? That's the problem. I don't think he beats Ryan Garcia either, because here's the thing. Ryan Garcia is big, he's fast, he's explosive. You got Teofimo Lopez, who just he's loading up, throwing one shot at a time now. He's not really working the whole round like he used to. He's not using his jab a lot. He's lying on the ropes. He's fighting like a guy who thinks he can get by on his athletic ability. Remember when Roy Jones was that guy? He was, and then once he lost and he couldn't rely on his athletic ability anymore, what happened? He started losing more. Ryan Garcia has the athletic ability. Yeah, does he make mistakes? Yeah. But he tries. You could see he's keeping his hands up. He's tucking his chin better. You know what I'm saying? He's improved. He's working. He's humble, right? And he fights every fight the same. There's no this guy is not worthy of me having to put in a full hard training camp because he's only Pedro Campa, right?
That's a dangerous mentality.
Man. Yeah. So if you're at this level and there has to be a switch that you flip on and off, and it's just not on all the time, and all these other guys, there's Josh Taylor, that switch is always on. Jose Ramirez, that switch is always on. Regis Prograis, fuck yeah, that switch is always on.
Yeah.
Jack Catterall, that switch is always on. All these guys, Ryan Garcia, that switch is always on. These guys they have the mentality of a top-level championship fighter. Now, Ryan Garcia needs to fight more, but when he does fight, when he does have a fight sign, when he does get in that ring, you can tell he's trying. No, it's not hard to criticize a guy that wins every round and stops his opponent. It's not.
Well, I'll tell you what. I thought the same thing. When I saw G Funky's comment.
It's because not hard.
I'm watching him.
Absolutely not hard.
And I'm thinking to myself, he looks different. He doesn't look that great, because I'm thinking about what he's done in the past. And he does. He takes his opponent out. He does all the right things, but there's just something missing. For me, anyway, there was just something missing. You knock
Comey out in 2 rounds. You put on a masterpiece against Lomachenko. And then you're getting hit with stupid shit against he. You know why I'm upset and I'm disappointed, right? And I'm being hard on the kid, because I don't think he tried to the fullest extent of his ability. How do you know that? Fair point. I think. How do you know that, Beep? I just saw a very uninspired performance. I saw a guy who was playing with his food last night. I don't think he put forth a full-fledged 100% effort. I thought he was approaching this fight as if it was a sparring session, and you can't have that mentality at this level. So that's why I'm how do you know, Beep? I'm just looking at what I'm seeing, and that's the impression that I'm getting, right? I just think this kid is so mentally fragile that he just doesn't have that like any little thing can disrupt him, right? And then listening to him after the fight, all this cryptic shit that he's saying.
What did he say after the fight? Because I missed that. I saw the fight and then
all this stuff
I zipped
about,
out of there. But what was
like he's like fucking reading proverbs and shit. It's just like, dude, stop. And then like all these Twitter messages talking about death and shit. The dude's fucked up in the head, man. He needs help. And his dad is making him more fucked up in the head. So the reason why I'm critical of the performance is because he did not give it 100%. He should have got the guy out of there in 3 rounds. He was getting hit with shit he wasn't supposed to be getting hit with. He was dropping his hands. He was doing a bullshit shoulder roll that made no sense at the time he was doing it. You know what I mean?
Only do that at certain points in the fight.
And he's laying on the ropes. And he's trying, like he's playing around, he's fucking around. The guy's hitting him with stupid shit that he shouldn't be hitting him with, because you were so much faster and you're just so much more athletic, right, than this guy. You got by, with all due respect, because this guy was at such a lower level than you. The over/under in this fight was 5.5 rounds for a reason. He opened up
the
at
odds now. You said, yeah.
He opened up at a minus 2,200, and then come fight time, he was a minus 3,500.
You know how much it takes to move the line like that? I mean, honestly, how much money, this, Beeb, how much money it takes to actually move a line just like a point?
So I'm critical of the guy because I don't think he's 100% dialed in, and he's acting like he's owed something. He's acting like Andre Ward said, okay, yeah, you got a good win over Lomachenko, but you still got to do more. Like the way his father talks and the way he talks, it's like we're already there. We're already here.
Yeah.
Devin Haney just became undisputed champion. You know what he said? I got a lot more to do. I got a lot more to prove. So I just don't believe
you got one guy who's still hungry, one guy who's saying he's arrived.
One guy's already made it, and he's got a guy in his father telling him he's already made it.
Yeah.
So and we're seeing him get worse. He didn't look good in the Kambosos fight, and he didn't look good in this fight.
Yeah,
my opinion.
And some Rondo is I get what you're saying, and I get what G Funky is saying. I get it, because it's hard. It is hard for me to criticize him when he wins every round and he knocks his guy out. I get it. I'm just saying, I thought he was a step slower. I thought that he didn't look like the same Teo that fought Lomachenko. I get it. He's fighting a different guy. I understand it. But this guy that he was in there with, it was supposed to be a showcase fight. It was supposed to be, he was supposed to just go in there and railroad this guy. He was getting caught in there. And I get it's a fight. He's going to get hit. I understand all this. I'm just saying, I thought he would look a little bit better than he did. More flashy, I guess. More, I don't know. Maybe it was the ring rust too. Could have been the ring rust. I don't know.
Well, I'm going to address this. He won every round. Why are you criticizing him for? Because he won every round in a very uninspired, lackluster fashion, right? You were supposed to win every round. You weren't even supposed to win every round. You were supposed to knock this guy out in 3. The over-under was 5.5. This fight was not supposed to go past 4 rounds. And he had a very uninspired, lackluster, very just didn't look like he was just happy to be there. He didn't look like he put forth a solid effort. He was playing, and he looked like he approached this fight as if it was a sparring session, and he fought this fight as if it was a sparring session.
Let me tell you this is what I noticed too. And please correct me if I'm wrong here. This is what I noticed though. And if you want me to give some critiques here, because like I said, the way I felt about it, like I said, he seemed a step slower. But let me tell you one thing I did notice. For the first minute of the round, he fought. He was the aggressor. He would fight, and then it seemed like he would coast until like maybe 30 seconds left, and he would try to turn it on. Sometimes he did, sometimes he didn't. But that's when Campa seemed to come on. It was after that first minute, he would then, kind of just lay off and then circle and then just.
And what is your explanation for why he did that?
Well, what they were talking about on ESPN, and it did make some sense, is the 2 weeks of sparring. The only way to get into fighting shape is to really fight. That's it. I mean, if you get on the treadmill or run 16 miles or whatever, a day, whatever. But it's still not going to prepare you for getting hit. You don't get hit in a marathon.
Fine. Why would you only spar 2 weeks for a fight?
That I couldn't tell you. That I don't know.
Would you say that? Would you say that's a fighter who's taking the fight 100% serious? Yes or no?
It depends. Would I encourage you to do that? No. But did they have a specific plan on why they were doing that? That I don't know.
Have you ever heard that strategy before from any?
I have not. No, in fact, I've heard the opposite. Now check this out. Sure. So James Toney, right, would blow off road work, would blow off everything, but just want to spar. That's all he wanted to do in training was just spar. No calisthenics, nothing. And he could go the 12 rounds because, again, it's a different kind of shape when you're fighting shape versus just cardio shape. They're different.
You remember Michael Moore, the Southpaw heavyweight champion.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was big on he didn't like to spar. He just didn't like to spar. And because of that, Lou Duva stopped training him. That was a deal breaker for Lou Duva. Yeah. He didn't like that. So he left him.
I don't blame him.
Right? So I'm gonna just say, in my opinion, why he did what he did in those rounds, as you described it, is because he wasn't focused on the fight, and he felt as though I'm going to do as little as possible to win these rounds, and then when I want to take this guy out, I'm going to take him out. Sort of like the same mentality he had in the Kambosos fight. I'm going to just coast here, and then I'm going to hit him with a big shot and get him out of there. This is the second time in a row he's had that mentality.
Was it me, or did he look a lot like he did in the Kambosos fight?
That's my point. So, Beeb, why are you doing this? Why are you saying these things? Blah, 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 blah.
He wasn't in there with a guy like Kambosos, but.
Why are you saying these things, Beeb? Because I'm seeing a pattern of behavior. And unless you're going to be fighting, with all due respect, Pedro Campos is the rest of your career, this ain't good enough, guys. You can't look me in the fucking eye, any one of you guys in the chat that is saying Beeb's an idiot, Beeb's this. Beeb is an idiot. That's fine. I'm certifiable.
Yeah, nobody's going to argue with that.
No one's going to argue with that. Guilty. I am an idiot. I am an idiot. Guilty. But besides being an idiot, you're seeing a pattern of behavior and you're seeing a mentality of a fighter that it's not going to end well if it continues this way, down this path. It's not going to end well. It's not. You can't do what you did last night against fucking Josh Taylor, Regis Prograis, Ramirez.
That's where I'm coming from.
That's where we're coming from.
Yeah.
You guys want to see what's right in front of you. Like, this phone is right in front of me. I'm putting the phone down and I'm looking fucking 10 miles ahead of that phone. You want to just see what's in front of you. That's not how I operate. I look at things. I play the long game.
From Boston.
Right? You guys want to do a 40-yard dash? Babe's running marathons. That's what it's about, Daddy.
Wow. Anyway, Michael Buffer, thank you so much. Lopez is Joshua 2.0. Mentally, they're both done. I get it. I don't know. It'll take time. Again, it's tough because we need to see him against a better opponent also. And but this was a comeback fight. I get it. G Funky 916 is on hold, and we're going to go to him right now because Beeb, I think he has a bone to pick with you. G Funky, you're live.
Hey, what's going on, Eric and Beeb? How you guys doing?
Hey, what's up, my man?
How you doing, Mr. Funky?
And I don't have a bone to pick.
Come on, yes you do. Tell Beeb he's wrong. Tell him he's wrong.
Now, the one beautiful thing about G Funky and I is when we're sitting down at Thanksgiving dinner, we disagree on things. I'm not throwing the drumstick at him, and he's not throwing the stuffing at me. Go ahead, G.
Right. No, Beeb's not an idiot. It's just, I disagree with your opinion on the fight. I feel like he looked really, really good and really sharp, to be honest with you, man. The only moments that I really seen Campa have success was when he did have Teofimo on the ropes. However, with that being said, I just got done watching the fight again, and in my honest opinion, Teofimo was winning most of those exchanges against the ropes. more often than not than Campa was. And I just feel like he was, like I said, he was winning those exchanges off the ropes. I feel like when the action was in the center of the ring and he used his jab, I mean, that was just, I mean, he had no chance then. And for me, that's really the only critique that I could really give Teofimo is more jabs, and I would like to see more body shots. I felt like he was going to stop the guy within 4 rounds. Obviously, took longer than that. But, you know, Campa he's strong, man. Got a good chin. And look, we could all sit here and come up with our hypothesis before the fight, and they could all make perfectly good sense. But it doesn't matter until the shit happens in the ring, you know? And credit to Campa, he was a lot stronger and a little bit better than I thought. But I think coming off of a long layoff, injuries, his first fight at 140 pounds, I feel like he looked damn good, in my opinion, man. And like I said, I feel like it's hard to critique a guy who wins every single round and knocks the guy out. I mean, and it's starting to become a pattern, man. And I've noticed that with certain fighters, like Bam Rodriguez. He wins every single round against Soren Visai, stops him. There's still people criticizing him. Ryan Garcia, the same thing with Javier Fortuna. Wins every round, knocks him down multiple times. People criticize him for certain things. Virgil Ortiz last week, people calling him one-dimensional. He's flat-footed. He's a take two to land one guy. But he wins every round and knocks the guy out. And then we're getting the same thing here with Teofimo. So, I mean, I'm not quite sure what's going on, but I feel like there's sort of a shift going on in the YTBC as far as, like, what's dominant and what looks good and what doesn't. And as far as Teofimo's antics and his father, look, outside of the ring, honestly, I don't even care what they say or do. As long as they get the job done inside the ropes, that's really all I care about. I feel like that's what's getting the Beeb here is the kid's father. He deserves it. And that's perfectly fine. You know, I get it. I think that they're turning heel, man. You know, Beeb and I are big pro wrestling fans. I think that the kid's turning heel, and I think it's working.
That's a great point, too. I mean, again, you want to get recognized. That's one way to do it. That's for sure.
The one thing about doing a heel turn, you have to be a face first. And was he ever a face? He didn't give himself enough time to become the face before he turned heel. So that could be a problem. Because if you start turning heel too early and you start burning bridges, no one's going to do you any favors in this sport. Floyd was pretty boy before he was money, right? So.
Hey, let me ask you guys a question. Now that I got you both on the line here. As far as Teofimo goes, do you think that now Oscar De La Hoya was ringside for this fight last night? Do you guys think that fight will be made, him and Garcia?
I don't think so.
I think it's possible.
I don't think so either. I don't think Ryan, and this is my personal opinion, I think that Ryan Garcia, next time he fights, it'll be against another fringe contender. I don't think he gets Tank. I don't think he gets Lopez. I don't think he gets anybody major. I really don't.
Yeah, that's pretty
as long as he's with De La Hoya, I don't think you get much, man.
Yeah, it's unfortunate too because I mean, top rank. It's 140 is a top ranked division. They've got just about everybody there, and you know, if you're not willing to play ball, but that's a whole other topic, you know.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
We know how difficult it is these days to make cross promotion. So, yeah, it sucks.
Man. All right, G, we're gonna get running, man. Thank you so much for the call. We appreciate it. I always love hearing from G, man. Always.
Absolutely.
Man, I tell you what, Beeb, he put it on you. He put you in your place, didn't he? Made you feel like a sucker, didn't he? He just rolled right over you. You're on mute, Beeb.
Well, trying to mute me. You don't want to hear the truth.
That's
what
right.
It is.
Bang Mateo, thank you so much. He said you guys are jumping the gun. First fight, new weight. Talking about Teofimo. I agree.
We don't coddle people here. We don't coddle people and hold their hands and stuff.
This is not for the weak of heart. This is not for the faint of heart right here, man. This is the Lion's Den.
We're not patting you on the ass, man, just because you showed up.
That's right. That's right.
You don't produce or perform, you get benched like anyone else.
Oh, that's kind of harsh, though. I wouldn't have taken it there. But
my own dad told my coach to bench me when I was striking out. And I was in this league where you had to play 3 innings. You know what my dad said? I don't even want to play 3 innings. Get him out of there. How it is. You got to deal with it. This is why I am the way I am.
Life is the way it is, baby. Sometimes things are just the way it is. You know what I mean?
Just deal with it.
All right, let's talk about somebody who I thought looked really good last night. Xander Zayas. Xander Zayas wins by TKO in the 5th round over Elias Espadas. Zayas looked good, and the crazy thing is, man, he's getting better every time he goes out there. He's got that X factor. He puts combinations together well. He makes good adjustments. Now, the great thing about the fight last night is Espadas was in there to fight. He was giving Zayas some resistance, but at the end of the day, Zayas too much, man. He's too strong, too quick, too fill in the blank there. In the 5th round, Espadas was dropped. He got up, and the referee stopped the fight. Now, listen, man, a lot of people are calling it a quick stoppage, but listen, the rating was on the wall here. He wasn't beating Zayas. He wasn't winning. He wasn't winning that fight. It wasn't real close. I mean, if he won 1 round, maybe. But Zayas, to me, he's got all the intangibles, man. They should take this guy. They should package him. They should put him in commercials. This guy will be the next superstar if they market him right. He needs to get like a not a manager, but a PR firm with him. He needs to get one of those PR people with him and like a firm. And so he goes out mainstream. Because this guy, Ryan Garcia, and this guy, both these two, those guys really should be making a lot more splash in the mainstream than they are.
Yeah.
But again, they're new. I get it. They're up and coming, and Garcia's kind of there, but
sure.
But
Zayas is with the right promotional company to do just that.
Yes.
Because we know Top Rank is notorious. They have a great reputation for pushing young talent.
Right. But I want to see these two especially, become stars outside of boxing. Because these guys
they will
have got it. You know what I mean? Either one of these guys could be like models or whatever the case may be. They're like Sugar Ray Leonard. They got great personalities. These guys, can be like the next Oscar De La Hoya. Like Oscar De La Hoya was kind of mainstream. Yeah. These guys can do the same thing. I want to see them. I want to see more fighters like this pushed. And that comes with hiring PR firms. It just doesn't happen. You got to hire these people to get you out there, get your name out there.
Social media.
Yeah, and Garcia's already huge on social media.
Yeah.
So as long as he keeps winning, and they know what they have, so they're going to keep
doing commercials now too. You see his commercials? He's doing commercials.
Who Garcia?
Yeah, he's doing commercials now.
That's what he needs to do. That's what he needs to do to become mainstream. And I think hopefully we'll see Zayas doing it. Obviously he's got to get a few more fights under his belt, but this is the guy, 17 years old, I believe, when Top Rank signed him, if I'm not mistaken. Wasn't he like 17 or something like that?
He's very young.
And this guy, man, he's dangerous. He's a dangerous fighter already. He's no joke.
He's no joke.
He's not the kind of guy that, anybody wants to fool with. He's got that skill level just already. He's so it's just in him. You know what I mean? He's just a pure boxer. He's got power. He's got good stuff, man. Just an unbelievable talent right now. So I'm anxious to see where he goes, where the projection is for toward the end of this year into next year, because you got 6 months left here. I'm assuming he'll probably fight again. Hopefully he'll fight again. And then going into next year, where do they take this guy, Beeb? I mean, is it obviously they're going to develop him? What do you think? A year and a half before he's ready for a title shot, or 2 years? I hope they don't. I hope they don't rush him. I don't want to see him, rushed.
I would say 2 years. What I think they got to start doing is putting him in there with some maybe top 15 guys, and they got to let him headline. And
I think that's a great idea. Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
I think 2 years. 2 years is a good timeline.
Yeah,
I think that's a good timeline for him.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. But he's coming along all the time. I mean, he's coming along well, and just looks great, man. Looks great.
Yeah, it's going to be fun watching his career.
Absolutely. All right, let's go to 516. I believe this is New York. Is that Jesse Reagan?
It's Jesse Reagan,
what's up, guys?
Jesse, what's up?
What's up, Reek?
Reek.
What's going on?
Reek, like that guy in Game of Thrones.
What's going on, fella?
Go ahead, Jesse.
Yeah, whatchamacallit? Xander Zayas, bro, beautiful performance. He said that, his dream is to headline Madison Square Garden like Miguel Cotto, Boricua, next Puerto Rican star, man. Big thing. Teofimo Lopez. He did what he was supposed to do. And not even that, he did it in the less time because the under was under 5.5 rounds, and that was minus 400. And then he's acting like he won the Floyd Mayweather fan. This guy, some rando on the chat in there, saying, "Oh yeah, he's supposed to celebrate like that." Hey, you celebrate like that after you beat Lomachenko, after you beat somebody that's a competitor. No disrespect to Campa, but he's not on Teofimo's level. If Teofimo goes out and he beats somebody, then I'm convinced. Right now, I'm with you, Beeb, 100%. I don't think he's the same Teofimo that beat Loma. He loses to Ryan Garcia, he loses to Taylor. This guy did what he was supposed to do and was supposed to throw him a parade. There's a reason why he gets the title shot. There's a reason why he gets the money he gets. He was supposed to beat this guy. Let's see him face some real competition. I'm done ranting.
And in fairness, I think that he does celebrate like that after every fight. So I don't think that was just him, honestly. I have more of a problem, like I said, with him boxing. It would look to me like 1 minute around, and then just kind of, I don't know if he was worried about stamina. I don't know if he was worried. It just didn't look like himself, I don't know. But again, G Funky brought up a good point. It's tough to criticize him. He wins every round. He takes the guy out. So, I get you.
But he's supposed to, Eric. he's
Sure.
Eric, that's like you taking a test and I'm giving you the answers, and then you get 100. You're supposed to get 100 if I give you the answers.
Oh, stop.
That's what it is, man.
Come on.
That's like me going over Asia Carrera's house. Of course,
you're still on Asia Carrera.
I'm slapping them skins if I go over Asia Carrera's house. I can't brag about it because that's supposed to happen.
No, you can't brag about it because she's like 90 now.
Come on, don't do
that.
She
looks like a melted candle, son. What are you doing?
Don't do that to her, man. Please. You're breaking my heart when you do that.
I'm just saying. You're in love with 80s Asia Carrera. You're not in love with 60-year-old Asia Carrera. You know what I'm saying?
She's the same age as me, man. She's a couple years younger. Come on.
Yeah, well, she looks like you with bubblegum now, right?
Go ahead, Jesse. Go ahead, Jesse.
Asia Carrera is actually so gorgeous. She was on an episode of Tiger Belly recently.
Thank you, Jesse. Thank you, Jesse.
But yeah. So I'm picking Anthony Joshua next week. I think he goes in there and he beats Usyk in a very good fight that I'm looking forward to. And that's it. That's my call for the day.
Good deal. Guys. All right, Jesse.
The mighty Jesse Reagan.
909. I think this is California, if I'm not mistaken. 909. You're live.
Hey, yo. Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes. Who are we speaking with?
My name is Louis from California.
All right, Louis. What do you want to talk about today?
Yeah, it's just going to be quick.
Sure.
I want to say salute to the almighty CCD and fuck those nigger loving.
Uh-oh. Did you notice how nervous he was, Beeb, when he called?
Yeah.
Did you notice how nervous he was?
You got to get rid of that.
So he's going to do a prank call and just be that nervous on it. Come on, guy.
Cut it off.
Come on, man. If you're going to do a prank call, you got to come with confidence, baby. You got to come like me or the Beeb when we make a prank call. I mean, we come confidence, boy.
That's disgusting. That's disgusting.
Come on, son. Come on, son. You're going to come with it. You got to come with it. That's not going to fly. Come on, Beeb. All right. Let's get to ringside Robert. Get that taste out of you.
I have to follow that. Oh my God.
That was probably you with a friggin' voice disguiser.
You know what? I don't mean to say anything But was it me, Beeb, or did that sound like Robert?
That sounded like you.
Robert.
That sounded like
a lot like Robert, man. I'm just saying. I don't know. I'm just saying.
A voice changer device. That's why you were stuttering.
Oh my God, that was awful, guys. That was awful. But hey, great show today. You guys are both on point.
That's right.
I mean, outstanding performance today by both of you. And I agree with a lot of what both of you have said as far as Teofimo Lopez is concerned. He's got to dump his father as his trainer, man. Or he's not gonna. He will never have another championship belt if he don't get rid of his father in his corner. Look at the improvement Look at the improvement Ryan Garcia has made ever since he went to Joe Goosen. Joe Goosen has made him a much better fighter. It's time for Teofimo Lopez to do the same thing. He needs to get a different kind of trainer. You can't have your dad going around and, oh, he's the greatest ever. My son will beat everybody. Yeah, he's going to say that. You're his dad. But for the betterment of his career, he's got to get a real boxing voice in there who can teach him things. Otherwise, his career may have plateaued at 135.
Robbie?
Yeah, I agree with Vanessa Suarez on this. A new trainer is a must. I 100% agree with that.
Robbie, so you know,
Yep.
so you don't text me 100 times this upcoming week. Usyk,
Right.
Joshua is at 12 p.m. Eastern time. That's when the card starts.
Yeah. Okay. So let me explain this to you. Okay. So yeah. So here, Beeb, check this out. So Robbie called. I text Robbie because I just got the news today. I actually text Robbie that the fight's going to be on DAZN. The Joshua Usyk fight will be on DAZN.
Right.
No pay-per-view. Volkswagen asked me, he was like, well, what time does it start? I'm like, just Google it, son. Just go on DAZN and Google it.
Robbie, you know what you need to do, Robbie? Honestly, I know you have the app on your television. You can also download the app on your phone, right? And then you don't tell me you can't see on your phone.
He's already there, son.
So if you open up the app on your phone, right, and you click on the schedule, it'll tell you on the 20th. It'll tell you what the time the fight is and everything. Don't tell me you can't see it because you can.
Okay.
You can open it up with your fingers and make it bigger. That's called technology. I didn't invent that.
You can open up your fingers and make it bigger.
Yeah, you pinch it up like that. You know what I'm talking about. Come on.
The reason why I asked you, Eric, is because I'm going to have people asking me all week.
Sure.
So that's why I asked.
Sure. Well, that's what I assumed.
Well,
and took it to a different place.
So people are going to be asking you what time the fight is. You can't go in the app and open up the day the 20th and hit the schedule button. All you got to do is hit the schedule button on the app. It tells you everything.
I got it, Steve. I got it.
How many times you got to tell him, babe? He understands.
Well, he's gonna.
Why do you have to browbeat him? Why is it when he calls?
Because he's gonna text me 100 times. He's gonna text me 100 times.
Then you can browbeat him then. There's no need to jump in. You don't have to blow out somebody
proactive.
else's candle.
I'm being
to make yours
proactive.
burn brighter. Okay.
This is a preemptive defensive mechanism. I'm exercising here.
I was not going to do that. That's bad.
Yeah, you say that now. But then when I open up my phone text messages, I see 6 text messages from you.
Stop it. Now that's going to be, so it's 12 p.m. Eastern, correct? 12 p.m. Eastern, that's when it starts?
Yeah. I mean,
that'll be 9 o'clock your time, yeah.
Even the honey dips don't text me as much as you do during
party on Friday, son.
You know?
You're just getting back. You're just getting up.
Yeah.
You might as well just stay up.
Well, my only question about that, I'm kind of surprised because my understanding was once Sky Sports got the rights in the UK, that DAZN was not going to be allowed to show it. So how did they manage to get the rights for the US?
Because it's different there's different rights fees. It's different markets.
Yeah, different countries.
They don't use the same, like there's different markets.
Like PBC, they show PBC on DAZN, but like DAZN in Germany, you know what I mean? So it's all good. It's different markets.
There's different rights fees. There's different rights fees.
Yeah, I get it, Steve. I get it, but that was my only question. Again,
steamrolling Beeb today, boy. Beeb's getting
a lot of people
steamrolled.
are
Killing me.
A lot of people are interested in this fight, and people have been asking me questions all week.
A lot of people hitting you up, huh?
Now he's trying to act like he's like this
Yeah.
friggin' Mr. Popularity. I go, oh, I've been getting hit. I got people in my DMs, hit me up. The hell out of here, will you please?
Hey,
I got people in my
Stop being a
DMs.
cloud chaser. Stop being a cloud
Now,
chaser.
come on. I'm doing 2 different podcasts, guys.
Oh,
so I do
God.
get
Now we got to
asked a lot
Oh,
of
I don't want to hear
jeez.
your resume. I don't want to hear your
Oh
resume.
my God. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, we know you're popular. We get it.
Please don't stop bragging, all right?
Now, come on,
I know
guys.
he's bragging. Now he's come over here. Now he's bragging now, right?
I'm not. I give up with you too.
For Christ's sakes. So who do you like next week, Robbie?
Yeah, who do you got?
I think Alexander Usyk is going to keep all 3 of these titles.
Wow,
Okay.
man, it's going to be a good fight, right? It's a good fight.
Yeah, but what kind of improvement? My question is, and I guess we won't know until the fight starts. My question is, how much improvement can Robert Garcia make in Anthony Joshua? Robert Garcia is not known for training. Robert Garcia is not known for training heavyweights. What does he know about a heavyweight boxer? He's not Emmanuel Stewart. Robert Garcia does not have the reputation of picking up somebody's career and turning it around.
Dude, are you saying
What?
Robert Garcia is not a good trainer?
No,
Come
he's
on,
a good
son.
trainer, but he's not known for heavyweights.
So what?
Give me a heavyweight that he's trained and been successful with.
I don't need him.
I'll
I can
wait.
give you a bunch of boxers that he's trained and been successful with.
Boxers, that's fine, but give me one heavyweight that he's been.
Why does it have to be?
with.
Okay, so what is the difference? What is the difference?
Emmanuel Stewart had the knack of taking a tall heavyweight and making him better.
Right. Give me a short
Okay.
heavyweight he did the same thing. Okay. Give me a short welterweight he did the same thing with. That's the thing, though. You don't know until you know. He's a good. We know that he's a good trainer. Right.
You're right. We know he's a good trainer, but this heavyweight.
Your problem is, Robbie. This is your problem. You don't like giving people a chance, Robbie.
Okay.
Oh,
You don't like people. You have a
Come on.
low tolerance for
Let him
people.
talk.
You just have no
Stop
tolerance. You have no
Robert, I'm
patience. I mean, you're just a Debbie Downer, Robert.
I'll stop it.
That's all I can say. You're very negative. You're a negative
Knock it off,
person.
Beeb.
Give
That's
me-
enough.
give me-
That's enough out of you.
All right, come on, baby. You're good at breaking down fights. Can you tell me honestly, what is he going to be able to do with a 6'7" Joshua? How much improvement is he going to
You want
make?
me to tell you the
Well,
truth?
I'll tell you what. Let me answer that for you. How much improvement can he possibly make? I don't know. He lost to Ruiz in devastating fashion and came back and just won completely every round. And he switched up his style.
That's Ruiz's fault because he came in at 280.
Well, be
pounds.
that, you know what? Be that as it may. Whoever it was his fault. He got, he gained a bunch of weight or whatever you want to say. The bottom line is Anthony Joshua changed the way he fights and he won the fight. This is what it tells me about Anthony Joshua, that Anthony Joshua is able to follow a game plan. Anthony Joshua has no ego when it comes to being coached. Okay. So if he's got buy-in on the game plan and he's got buy-in with what he's doing and he likes his trainer, that's all he needs. He will listen to the trainer. And if they're going to get a game plan together and he will follow it. I have no doubts he will follow it.
Robbie,
You're not going to see the old Joshua.
I'm going to answer your question, Robbie. In my honest opinion,
Okay.
In my honest opinion, I don't think he can do much improvement. I just don't.
No, I don't think so either.
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to respectfully disagree with Eric here.
I think we're going to see on Saturday that Alexander Usyk is going to walk in with the titles and he's going to walk out of the ring with the titles, and then he'll set up a mega match, hopefully with the Gypsy King, and we'll see an undisputed heavyweight champion.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. All right, Robert, we're going to get rolling here. We're going to put you on hold.
I see it.
Runt.
Oh, stop. You were a little harsh on him today. I'm just saying, you were a little
Gotta give
hard.
people tough love, man. The truth is always the best. It's always the best medicine, you know.
Well, after giving it some thought, I agree. All right, there you go. All right, let's talk about the upcoming fights here. Here we go. August 20, San Diego, California, on ESPN and ESPN Plus, Emmanuel Navarrete versus Eduardo Baez, 12 rounds for Navarrete's WBO featherweight title. That's not a bad fight. That's a pretty good one. On the undercard, Nico Walsh Ali versus Reyes Sanchez. Fun fact here. Did anybody know that Nico Walsh Ali was actually Ali's grandson? Did you guys know that?
No.
If you're looking for confirmation, if you guys are looking for confirmation, tune into ESPN on August 20th, and they will only repeat it 50, 60 times leading into that fight.
No.
Yes, that's true. True stuff. And the big one. Actually, there's two big ones. Let me give you the first big one first, okay? On August 20th, B from Hollywood, Florida. Titletown's own Adrian Broner. The Problem returns, baby. Why he's returning to Hollywood, Florida, not Cincinnati, I don't know. But, hey, he's returning. Versus Omar Figueroa Jr., 12 rounds, junior welterweights. The co-main, Alberto Puello. Versus Badazan Akhmedov, 12 rounds for the vacant Super Junior, WBA Super Junior welterweight title. That's going to be a good fight. That's going to be a good fight. Roger Gutierrez versus Hector Garcia, 12 rounds for Gutierrez, WBA Super Junior lightweight title. Another good fight. Ismael Barrasso versus Fernando Saucedo, 8 rounds junior welterweights. That's not a bad fight. Rashid Warren, 3-time Olympian. B, where's Warren from?
Ohio, baby.
Oh, yeah, he's from Cincinnati. That's right, Titletown, baby. Rashid Warren versus Francisco Pedraza Portillo, 8 rounds bantamweights. Warren destroys that guy. Evan Holyfield versus Jermaine McDonald. This card is pretty stacked. Sergey Lipinets on the card. Yeah, it's pretty stacked in Hollywood, Florida. I don't know how many of those we'll be able to get to see. Probably the first 3 or 4. It's on Showtime. So I Am Dwayne says, does anyone really care to see AB come back? Let's talk about this fight for a minute. Let's talk about this fight for a minute.
Oh, no.
This is a tough one. This is a tough one here. Listen, man, I think Omar Figueroa is a good fighter. I think Omar Figueroa has been more active. And I think Omar Figueroa, unfortunately, I got to keep it real here, unfortunately will beat Adrian Broner. I think he's just more active. I think the other thing, too, is he's just in the ring more active. Broner was really criticized, heavily during his stint for not throwing a lot of punches. Well, Bronner's now older now. He's been out of the ring for a while. He's not going to get better, guys.
No,
you're not going to see a magical improvement of him throwing 90 punches around. It doesn't work.
You can't be a part-time fighter, man.
It doesn't work, man. It doesn't work.
I'm sorry, but Adrian Broner will never be world champion again, ever.
Yeah, I don't know who he can fight to be world. I'll be honest with you. I don't know. I think Omar Figueroa wins this fight. Rashid Warren on the undercard here. I hope he wins his fight. But again, he's another one that's he's been around for a while. He's been inactive for a little bit. I'm hoping he wins. I'm hoping. Let's put it that way. I like Rashid a lot. He's a super nice guy. Great guy. Both of them were great guys. Both him and Broner are great guys. I hope they both win, though. I tell you what, I am pulling for Broner, and I'm pulling for Rashid Warren. Hopeful that they win.
I think Figueroa is going to win. I'm picking Figueroa in that fight.
Yeah, it's hard not to. Just based on activity, it's hard not to.
Should be a fun fight, though.
Yeah, Evan Holyfield also on that undercard. That's going to be an interesting fight. His brother plays for us. He plays for the Bengals. I think he just got injured, though.
I heard that, yeah.
Yeah, but Holyfield's he's the guy, I think he played for, I don't know where he played. I don't know if he played for Georgia coming in or what. But yeah, he just got hurt, but he's playing for Cincinnati, though. So very cool stuff. Let's see here, and that'll be it for that. Okay, so let's talk about the main event here. August 20, Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, 12 p.m. Eastern on DAZN. 9 a.m. in the West on DAZN. Oleskandr Usyk versus Anthony Joshua, 12 rounds for Usyk's WBO, WBA, and IBF heavyweight titles. Filipe Govic versus Zhilei Zhang, 12 rounds in the IBF heavyweight eliminator. Callum Smith versus Matthew Botterleek, 12 rounds, WBC light heavyweight eliminator. Badu Jack, he had to be on this card, right? Versus Richard Rivera, 10 rounds, light heavyweights. There you go. Andrew Tabiti versus Tyrone Spong. That's a good fight. That is a good fight. That is like a fight.
That's a good one.
Both those guys are a little bit past, but that's a good fight, man. I like that a lot. 8 rounds heavyweights. That's a fun fight. So if you guys get a chance to watch that one, definitely tune in. Let's talk about the main event here. Oleskandr Usyk, Anthony Joshua. Beeb, again, I'll go over it. Hey, before we go any further, hey guys, why don't we hit the like button? We got quite a few people watching here. Let's hit the like button, guys. Come on. I don't ask for money. I don't ask for much. Just ask that you like me. Just hit the like button. It's real easy. And if you guys haven't subscribed yet, definitely subscribe. Hit the bell so that you know Beeb does videos all week long on this stuff, man. Any kind of topic you want, Beeb's always there with the latest boxing stuff, doing videos and everything like that. He's grinding. He's putting in a lot of work. So, hey, why don't you guys thank him? Why don't you guys subscribe? Why don't you guys hit the like button? Why don't you guys do something constructive like that? Instead of just listening to us, we involve you in the show, right? Hit the like button. It's simple. It's very simple. Beeb, let's get back to it. Usyk, Joshua. I like Joshua here. I like Joshua to win. I like Joshua to win a narrow decision. I think it's closer, but I think Joshua wins this fight. I think he's got a different game plan. I don't necessarily agree with his game plan, with said game plan. Now, they said that he's going to be more aggressive for this fight. I don't know if I necessarily agree with it, but I don't mind it either. But Usyk can punch. Usyk's a good boxer. This fight can go either way. I like Joshua just based on the last time he lost. I know he can rebound. I know he's coachable, and I know that he will do what they tell him. But what they tell him, is that the right thing? I don't know. But he's going to come in shape. And so is Usyk. But you know what I do think about with Usyk? By the way, I saw him in training. He's huge. He looks like a mod. He looks like a bodybuilder. He's really put on some mass. He looks great, don't get me wrong. But I wonder how that affects his stamina. I don't know. Yeah. But the one thing about Usyk, he was just in a war. I know he left there to come back here and fight. That's not an easy thing to do, guys. Seeing what he's seen and everything like that, in the destruction he's seen in it, it's not an easy thing to do, and it plays games with your head. I don't know how he's going to. I'm actually more interested to see how Usyk looks in this fight than I am Joshua, because to me that's a difficult thing to do, to come out of war straight to training camp. It's different. It's just different things, man. Different things. B, what are your thoughts on this?
It's funny because we're hearing Joshua is going to be more aggressive, but like you said, is that going to really be helpful? Because he was aggressive, you know, in the middle rounds of that fight, and then when he tried to be aggressive, I thought he did worse because Usyk started hurting him and almost knocked him out in that 12th round. Now the thing here is Usyk, like you said, is bigger. He's put on some weight. Now, will those extra muscles eat up that oxygen? I think you mentioned that as well last week. But is Usyk going to go into this fight with the mentality to be more aggressive? Is he going to go for the knockout? Because he looks dialed in. When you saw him at that press conference, he had a very steely look in his eyes. Like he looked like a man possessed. He looked like he was really dialed in, and he wasn't his usual playful self, right? So he's he's really up for this fight more so than, and I think it appears to be any other fight in his career. And people are talking about, you know, Ukraine and, you know, his, you know, him being in the war and him being over there around all the turmoil. How's that going to affect him? But another way of looking at it is it could actually inspire him. He could say to himself, I'm going to do this for my country. similar to like when Buster Douglas, his mom died, he used that for motivation. Sometimes when you take a tragedy, you can use that for motivation, and it makes you even more focused, more motivated, more dangerous, more up for the task. So instead of the whole Ukraine situation being a detriment, it could be a positive for Usyk. It can make him more dangerous. Like I said, it can make him just be have more to fight for. He's not fighting for just himself. He's come out and said, "I'm fighting for my country as well." So maybe him dedicating this fight to his country, it's going to mean even more, and it's going to reflect in a positive way in his performance. But the big thing is the weight gain, because he looks honestly at least 15 pounds heavier.
And that's not 15 pounds of, cake. I mean, that's 15 pounds of muscle, man. He looks big.
He's not on the Andy Ruiz diet. I'll tell you that right now.
That's right. No, he's not.
So.
A lot of people asking where Usyk was stationed in the war. Listen, I know that was he on the front lines or whatever? Listen, I know the Klitschko's had guns and they were in firefights and everything. I'm assuming Usyk did the same thing. But it really, honestly, it doesn't matter where you were. It's war. It's stressful. When you don't know from 1 minute to the next if you're going to get shot, that's always pretty stressful.
Joshua is a plus 175. Alexander Usyk is a minus 210. The over-under is 10.5 rounds. The over is a minus 140. The under is a plus 120. I have a feeling this fight may go under the 10.5. I think it's going to end in a stoppage. I don't think this fight goes the distance. And I do have a feeling Usyk could possibly get the stoppage here, because I think by Anthony Joshua being more aggressive, I think Usyk is anticipating that, and maybe that's why he put the weight on, because he's thinking if he's going to be more aggressive, I'm going to need to be bigger to hold him off, right?
Could be, but it could work against him.
Yeah, it could. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, because Usyk has a way.
You remember that Usyk-Chisora fight?
Yeah.
He got battered around by Chisora early in that fight.
He got manhandled physically.
He got manhandled. Listen, AJ's not Chisora.
Yeah.
And if AJ starts doing that to him and AJ's able to manhandle him, this fight could end early. This fight could end quick.
But AJ's never really been a physical guy. He's never been a really inside fighter. He's more or less been a mid-range to out fighter. So I don't know if he could fight the way Chisora fights. Maybe he can. I'm not saying he can't, but he
can fight any way they tell him he's going to be able to fight.
So you think he's coachable? Do you think he's coachable?
Absolutely coachable. To
such a high degree.
Just look at that second, and you can say Ruiz came in fat or whatever you want to say. Ruiz came in and he wasn't motivated. I don't care what you say. Listen, all I know is that was a completely different Anthony Joshua than you saw in the first fight. Had nothing to do with Ruiz. Completely different Joshua.
To your point, for him to do a complete 180 like that, it does take a lot of discipline, and you have to be focused to do that, right? So it's not easy to do that. It's not easy to go against what your natural instincts are, and he sort of kind of did in that second Ruiz fight. You know?
Absolutely. And you look at guys like, say, Jermaine Taylor, who couldn't do it. Who couldn't learn a new style. You're looking at a guy like AJ who shouldn't be able to learn a new style, because they have that, a lot of boxers, hey, I got this far, I can do it. I just need to make a couple of adjustments. He will listen to whatever they have to tell him, and he will fight that way. I think it was Andrew in the chat said that, if Anthony Joshua or if Joshua was more aggressive, that he could gas earlier. That is one question that has been in there, is that gas tank. When he starts, again, I think, he needs to lose some of that muscle. I really do. He needs to get leaner.
He's already trimmed down a little bit. Yeah.
Perfect. I mean, that's what he needs to do. He needs to get leaner because that muscle takes a lot. It takes a lot out of you, man, just carrying that stuff around and everything like that. And it's not, that kind of body is not really suited for cardio,
Dwayne made a good point in the chat. He says, even though AJ's more skilled than Chisora, he questions, does he have Chisora's killer instinct? What's your response to that?
I absolutely. I mean, look what he did. He's got how many knockouts and against good opposition. He's a finisher. He's absolutely a finisher. If he gets him hurt, he will get you out of there or he will do his best. He definitely has a killer instinct. I think that's a knock on a lot of British guys for whatever reason.
Yeah.
People don't think they have a killer instinct.
They said it about Frank Bruno.
I don't understand that. I don't understand that. You know, they're not, you know, when you're in there, they're just as mean as we are. You know what I mean? I think, you know, sometimes I think people hear their accent and just think that, oh, well, we can run them over. No, or they don't have a killer instinct just because, you know, they all have a killer instinct, man. Don't get it wrong, man. They all have a killer instinct. You don't get to this kind of level without having a killer instinct, without having a mean streak in you. You know, you don't get to that level. Yeah, G Funky says, I agree, Eric. AJ's got to stop the bodybuilding. He's too stiff. And yeah, I think so too. And I think Garcia knows that. And I think they're going to train him for all that. But I guess, you know, where I come in is, will that be enough? You know, our conversation last time, you know, was, hey, is Usyk even big enough to fight AJ?
Yeah, first time around.
That was our conversation. First time around, man.
I picked AJ the first time, man. I
picked
Usyk.
AJ too. And, you know, I wanted to see Usyk win. But, yeah, I mean, he's proven he's now in a full-fledged heavyweight. He can deal with a full-fledged heavyweight. So we'll see what happens, man. It's going to be exciting. So your official pick is going to be Usyk by KO?
By stoppage. I'm going to say he stops him.
Okay.
I'm going to say Usyk stops him in round 10.
Okay. My official prediction, a thin decision for Anthony Joshua. I think Anthony Joshua gets him
split
by decision. I don't think it's split. I think it could be unanimous, but it's close. You know,
like 115, 113.
Yeah, 7-5, somewhere around there. Even I can see even an 8-4, 7-5 fight.
Let me talk about something like maybe that may not be that big of a deal. Like the whole DAZN thing with now we finally know that they're going to be broadcasting the fight, and they just announced it like today. It just went on the schedule literally today, less than a week away, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to be on regular DAZN.
Yeah.
But the Canelo Golovkin 3 for the UK people. It was said to them that fight would never be on pay-per-view in the UK. But now DAZN is charging the UK people a pay-per-view price for Canelo Golovkin 3 on a fight that they're going to have to watch at 4 a.m. Is this a slap in the face that we're getting this fight for free?
No.
And they have to pay for Canelo Golovkin 3 at 4 a.m. Isn't that ridiculous?
It is, but I will tell you this. It is not a slap in the face that we get this fight for free, because nobody would pay for this fight. I mean, we would pay for it. Like you and I would pay for it. Our chat, I'm sure, would pay for it. But your average Joe doesn't know either one of these guys. Couldn't pick either one of these guys out of a lineup. They had, I'll give you an example. At the mall, right? At the mall, they had a big picture of Anthony Joshua. It was like when he was promoting Reebok or whatever. I think it was like Reebok, and we were in Dillard's or something, like one of those like Macy's or type place. I think it was Macy's, actually. They had a big poster of Anthony Joshua. I asked a few random people who the guy on the wall was. Nobody knew who he was. Nobody. This is the biggest guy, the biggest boxer right now in England. You know what I mean? He's the biggest guy worldwide. You know, he's one of the top guys worldwide as far as marketing goes. Nobody here knew him. Who do you think they're going to know? Usyk? Nobody's going to know that name. They don't even know how to pronounce that.
So basically, the UK fans are being punished for being better boxing fans than us.
Absolutely. Because they all those boxing fans over there know who Canelo is. They all know who Triple G is. Those guys are household names.
They know our fighters, but a lot of people over here don't know their fighters.
Right. What drives it here, I think they have boxing fans over there. Here we have boxing fans and we have casual fans, but casual fans are the ones that drive the market. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So since casual fans drive the market, casual fans aren't going to pay for Joshua versus Usyk. It's just that easy. I mean, they're not going to do it. Nobody's going to do it.
This is awesome. I get this fight for free. I'm so happy.
I'm so pumped.
And it's a pretty decent card too.
Yeah, and it's a good fight. I mean, this is one of those fights. Again, this is like the Ruiz Joshua fight, that rematch. We don't know which way it's going to go. we don't know which way it's going to go, man.
Is another thing I question too. By waiting till Sunday to announce it and officially put it on the app, right, and have it on the schedule, did they shoot themselves in the foot by not putting it on the app earlier so they could at least try to drum up some interest for the fight, or do you think it just wouldn't have mattered one way or the other? There's no way this fight was unsellable here in the United States, in other words, in your opinion.
Unsellable.
Gotcha. Okay.
Unsellable.
Fair enough.
It just is. Andrew's saying it's $25 over there, so that's not a bad price, but I mean, compared to what we pay over here, I don't know what you guys pay over there.
They cry about paying $25, $30 when we're paying $80.
Yeah, but you know what? Look at the fights they got to pay for, though. You know what I mean? I mean, look at some of the fights they got to pay for.
They're not going to get my sympathy. They're not going to get my. I spent almost $1,000 on paper. $1,000 on boxing this year.
Oh, come on!
All the pay-per-views I bought.
I know, it's only August too. How bad is that? Like, really, it's only August, dude.
Remember what that month I showed you my cable bill with all the pay-per-views I bought? And you were like, what the fuck? Because it was a month that who was it like? Spence Ugas, and was Spence Ugas and Fury White or something in the same month or something like that?
Something like that. It was something like that. Fury Wilder. I think it was Fury Wilder. I don't know. But I remember it was a lot of money, though.
Yeah. There was
$80 for every pay-per-view that comes down the pike is going to be $80.
Yeah.
You know, it just is, man. Sucks.
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right, let's talk about the news and rumors. All right, speaking of the UK, Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr. is set for October 8th. Beeb, I think it's a mismatch. I hope I'm wrong. That fight has already sold out. Sold out. Complete sellout, son. You think about this, man. You think about this. As much as we think it's a mismatch over here, they got history with that fight over there. Conor and Ben, two huge names over there. Now they got their sons fighting. I mean, you don't get any bigger than this fight in the UK. It's the biggest fight possibly that could be made in the UK right now. It's huge. I don't like it, but hey, listen, man. Tickets are saying something else. They want to see it, so hey, let it go, man.
This is the same situation like when Mayweather and McGregor was first announced, and I was like, "What the fuck? This is such an insignificant fight." But what happened? I saw the press conference and I started getting, interested in it, right?
Yeah.
So then I saw the press conference for this fight, and I was like, "Wow, this is kind of cool. This is like." At first, I was like, this fight makes no sense, blah, blah, blah. He's going to be the catch weight is like 157. But
what is Ben, like 147? He's a welterweight, isn't he?
Yeah. But they're saying, like, they're trying to say that in the Van Heerden fight that he rehydrated to 170 pounds the night of the fight.
Wait a minute. How much does Eubank Jr.? He 168?
He's a 160 pounder. He fights at 160, right? And he's got to get that down to 157. And I think there's a rehydration clause. They have to weigh him in the next day at the morning of the fight. I think it was the morning of the fight. They weigh him in at 11 in the morning. And Eddie was saying that the rehydration clause is less than the IBF's rehydration clause. So the IBF's rehydration clause is 10 pounds. So I'm guessing the rehydration clause for this fight is he can only put on
like 5 or 8 pounds or something like that.
Maybe 8 pounds, I'm guessing, right? Yeah. So if he weighs in at more than 158 and a half for the weigh-in, the fight is off. So he can be over only by 1.5 pounds at the weigh-in and pay the penalty.
Yeah.
See, now this is what they should have told Hasim Rahman.
Hasim Rahman wasn't going to make the weight. I think he thought he could make the weight. I genuinely believe he thought he can make the weight. But, yeah. He didn't even make the weight when he tried to make the weight. He still couldn't make it.
But
he's still overweight.
Chris Eubank's hilarious. The way that the back and forth.
They're both hilarious. You got Eubank's dad. I love Eubank's dad. Like Eubank Sr. was awesome.
Yeah, he was hilarious.
He's my idol. He dresses in a suit in the corner.
I like Chris Eubank Jr. too, man. I mean, you can say what you want about the guy, but he's had a successful career. He's made millions of dollars. He's got a beautiful
for sure.
He hasn't fought all the fights we wanted him to fight, but he's got some solid fights in there that he fought. You know what I mean? So
It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting, man. Ben's a good fighter too. I don't know if his power carries up that way, but I don't know, man.
I don't see how Ben wins this fight.
I don't know, man. Chris, it's not like Chris Eubank Jr. is a classic boxer. You know what I mean? It's not like he's going to give,
But he can bang.
Ben's a good Ben. Let me tell you what, Ben's a better boxer than Chris Eubank Jr.
Think he's more skilled?
Yes, for sure. He's got power also. Eubank Jr. only has power. You saw what happened with Eubank when he went up against Billy Joe Saunders. He got washed in that fight.
I thought that was a close fight.
That fight wasn't even close, son.
I thought the Billy Joe Saunders fight was close. The George Groves fight, he got washed. Is that?
I thought he got washed in both fights.
Yeah. See, I thought that Billy Joe Saunders fight was. I thought it was competitive in that fight.
Yeah. So yeah, man, it should be good. It should be good. So De La Hoya, Oscar De La Hoya was at ringside for the Teofimo fight last night. De La Hoya said earlier on that he's moving away from the Garcia Tank fight. So he said they're playing games, which is code for I can't get it done because I'm Oscar De La Hoya. So as I said earlier, I think my guess is that Ryan Garcia will face another fringe contender in his next fight. Beeb, what say you? You think he fights anybody significant?
Well, they were saying that Teofimo Lopez could be a possible opponent. I don't think that.
Well, they've been saying Devin Haney could be a possible opponent. Mike Tyson could be a possible opponent. Listen, he's not fighting. They do this every single time with this guy. He comes out and he says, I want to fight this guy. I want to fight this guy. I'm going to fight this guy. And he ends up fighting none of the above. He ends up fighting a fringe contender that barely anybody's ever heard of, that he's guaranteed to win. I mean, let's get him a fight already. He deserves a fight. Let's get him a fight.
Do you know who I think he fights next?
Who?
Jojo Diaz.
Yeah, probably.
And then Jojo Diaz will be undersized at 140. It won't be a really great fight. It won't be a great fight.
No, I agree.
So,
awful news out of Canada. David Lemieux's father was shot and killed last week. It was just basically what happened was Lemieux's father was at a bus stop and somebody went on a shooting spree over there. And turns out he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. So condolences to that family. David Lemieux, incidentally, has just announced his retirement. I think it was yesterday he put that out, that he announced he's retired from boxing. And I'm happy for him. He's had a great career. Nothing to second guess. He's gave us a lot of entertaining fights, a lot of entertaining knockouts.
Yeah.
Just a class act, man. And so good luck to him in his retirement. And again, condolences to his family for that whole thing. Just ridiculous. Didn't need to happen. And yeah.
That's a shame.
So the WBA has ordered Dimitri Bivol to face Zurdo Ramirez. Beeb, I think this fight's going to happen because I know that, the only thing really keeping Bivol in conversations is that belt he's got. And so I know he wants to keep that belt.
Yeah, he's going to keep that belt.
That's pretty paramount to where he is and how he gets things done and how he gets bigger opponents. Without that, he's not going to get anybody.
I agree.
He's fighting Ramirez next, baby. Zurdo Ramirez. Beeb, he ain't getting by Ramirez, son.
You're picking Ramirez?
I'm picking Ramirez.
I think Ramirez. I favor Bivol in this fight. I'm probably going to pick Bivol, but Ramirez is live.
Let me tell you what, live. I think Ramirez may very well be the best one in that division.
Wow.
He may be the best one. He may be
better than Better Beef. He
may be the cream of the crop in that division.
Wow.
That guy can box. He can fight. He can put you away.
Strong, too. He's fucking big. He's a big dude.
He's just good.
Southpaw.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I'm not sleeping on Ramirez. Don't get me wrong.
No. And Bivol, listen, but Bivol can do it too. I mean, it's not like Bivol can't beat him. Bivol, we all know what he brings to the table, but man, is that going to be a good fight. That's going to be a great fight. I cannot wait until that is there, man. Ahmed said I'm showing my Mexican bias. All right, Beeb. This is what we all waited for. Let's talk about it here. Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford could be a done deal. Dan Rafael, everybody's favorite, reported Monday that the bout is penciled in for either November 12th or November 19th and will most likely take place in Las Vegas if the details are finalized. We've been hearing buzz about this all week. I think that we know that Errol Spence is in training right now. I think that fight's a done deal, Beeb. I think both guys have agreed on it. I think both guys are there. I think, there's like little light things to be touched out, like where it's going to be, what date, blah, blah, blah. But
bad news.
It looks like it's going to happen, man. You don't think so?
I got bad news.
What is it?
I was reading a tweet from Steven Espinosa.
Uh-huh.
That poo-pooed that. I'm not saying that Steven Espinosa, let me take a look at the tweet, but he was saying that basically, I'm going to paraphrase it. I'm going to see if I can find it first, but I'll paraphrase it. He said, I'm hearing a lot of rumors about fights being done, and some of these rumors are laughable. So, and then he was doing it. He did an interview on the Tay podcast there, Deontay Wilder's buddy there. What the hell is that guy's name? Something Tay?
I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, and he's being interviewed on there, and he was just basically saying that we don't want to talk about these negotiations in public because it serves us no benefit. He goes, when the fight is done, we'll let you know. If it's going to happen this year, we'll let you know. Whatever. So, I think Dan Rafael may have jumped the gun a little bit here, but he could be right too.
I think he's never usually wrong. I mean,
they're still talking, but let me see if I can find that tweet. But I read that tweet.
Listen, not to downplay what Steven Espinosa said, but just to play devil's advocate here, I mean, you want a big announcement for it. So
maybe he didn't mention
it by name. He didn't mention it by name. He didn't mention it by whatever. And we don't even know that Showtime is going to pick this fight up. This may be a Fox thing. Now, I know you said that Fox isn't involved in with PBC anymore, but who knows? This is a huge fight. This is
I'm not gonna
going into November, football season, everything like that. This is a big deal.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything because things are changing. Things change so much, and you know what I mean. We don't know what's gonna happen from one day to the next.
Little Penny says Dan Rafael got fired by ESPN. Yeah, and then they picked up Mike Coppinger, the fountain of misinformation over there. So, Hamed, I kind of agree with you. Wake me up when the fight is official. I hear you. Listen, I'm a glass half full kind of guy.
Yeah, I
So,
don't want to
people talking about pay-per-view numbers, everything like that. But so I think it might happen, Beeb. Last week. I was 100% sure it wouldn't happen.
Okay, here's a tweet. Here's a tweet
about it.
As I've repeated, this tweet was 3 days ago. He says, as I've repeatedly said, it would not be productive to publicly discuss the details of certain negotiations while they are ongoing. Having said that, some of these rumors are comical. So,
You don't know what he's talking about. You don't know what he's talking about. It's very cryptic. Yeah, it's very cryptic. And people don't like surprises ruined. They like to to hold the narrative, So when things start leaking, they start doing damage control.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to stay optimistic about it. I'm hoping the fight.
I am too.
I'm gonna just cross my fingers and hope the fight does happen this year.
It's got to go down, man.
Because if it doesn't happen this year, Errol Spence did say if it doesn't happen this year, it's probably never going to happen because they're probably going to both move up to 154. They're not going to sit there and wait around for each other.
No, I agree. Deontay Wilder is expected to return on October 15th versus Robert Helenius. The fight will be on pay-per-view, Beeb. $80 on pay-per-view. That being said, didn't we say this a couple of weeks ago that Wilder was coming back to fight Helenius? I believe we did. I believe you heard it here first. I believe you heard that here first. Yes, because Frank Warren was talking about that.
Yeah.
So just another reason to subscribe. We give you the news, baby. That's what we do. Is this a good fight? Can Helenius listen? I don't think it's a bad fight. I don't think it's that bad.
Helenius is
solid, right?
Solid fight. It's a good fight. A lot of people are criticizing it to be on pay-per-view, but once again, I mean, if these broadcasters don't have dates and they're not going to pay rights fees for the fight, then if the only way these fights can be on or be broadcast to us, the only way we can see these fights is on pay-per-view. You got to make a choice. Do you either want the fight to happen or you don't want the fight to happen? You know, I don't like paying for the pay-per-views either, but again, the way things are, you know, you have the PBC has so many fighters, and now I'm hearing Fox is out of the picture, so now they only have Showtime. Showtime's only has so much of a budget that they can pay. They only have so many dates that they can provide to the fighters. So I believe this is the reason why we're seeing so many pay-per-views because of this, in my opinion. I'm not saying I'm an advocate for it, but I understand why it's happening, you know?
Yeah. And, you know, I mean, about this fight, man, Wilder, you know, again, he's not going to outbox Helenius. Helenius is on like a 4 or 5 knockout streak, you know, coming into this fight, beat Konoski twice. This is not a bad fight. This is actually a pretty decent fight. It's a decent fight. We expect Wilder to land the big right hand. That's what we expect. But Wilder's been out for a little bit. Helenius' last fight was in October, so he's been out a little bit. So who knows what you're going to get? So interesting. I'd like to see hopefully they put together a good undercard for it and make it worth our while here. Some sad news to report. Judo Gene LaBelle passed away this week. LaBelle was 89. He was a stuntman. He was a teacher. He was an actor. He trained Chuck Norris. He trained Bruce Lee and Ronda Rousey. And fun fact about Gene LaBelle, he choked out Steven Seagal and made Steven Seagal take a dump in his pants. So how about that?
Pants. Yeah.
Yeah, he said he choked him. He passed out and just let it go right there. How about that?
I believe it.
LaBelle's a legend, man. Now, Steven Seagal disputes it and said it never happened, but, you know.
I dispute Steven Seagal.
I dispute Steven Seagal, too.
I dispute Steven Seagal.
Oh, man. Tyson Fury, Beeb. Your boy. Your boy.
I know.
Yeah. Is at it again with the games of his retirement and unretirement. He officially retired again this week. Then he unretired. Then he went to, was it Norway, looking for the mountain, Bjorn, what was it, Bjornson or whatever, or what is his name? Mountain. He went looking for him. When he found out he wasn't in country, they just, him and his dad ate out at a restaurant or whatever. I don't know. The WBC, interesting thing is WBC still has him as champion. Still has him as listed as champion. Have not taken the belt away from him at all. I'm sure that has nothing to do with the fact that AJ and Usyk are fighting this week. You know, just to get his name out there, just to keep, you know what I mean? So, yeah. So, guys, he's not retired. He may give the belt back. He's not retired. He will fight AJ or somebody else. He'll fight the winner of that because there's going to be too much money. If AJ wins that fight, you have any idea how much that is the biggest fight in British boxing history right there. Nobody's letting that payday go, son. Nobody. They will bring him out of retirement to have that fight.
This is classic attention-seeking behavior from Tyson Fury, and that's all it is. That's all it is. And it's kind of a bad look, but let him do what he wants to do. I mean, this is how he is. You know?
Now, Ring Magazine, the lineal champion, which usually goes to the lineal champion, Ring Magazine has now said that the Ring title is on the line for Joshua and Usyk next week. So that will be the new lineal champion. You know,
they took it away from Tyson Fury.
They've already taken it away from Tyson Fury. He said he's retired, so they have no choice but to take him at his word.
They don't want to keep playing. Nothing. They don't want to keep playing games with this guy.
Which I tell you what, I don't blame him. I don't blame
him either. They set a precedent, right? They're saying, hey, you know what? You want to retire and unretire, retire and unretire. We're not going to sit there and wait around for you.
I agree. Amok PvP says that Bruce Lee is overrated. Beeb, what are your thoughts here?
I agree 100%.
You think he's overrated? I don't think he's overrated at all. How is he overrated?
In my opinion, because everyone says he's such a bad dude in the street, but we don't know because we've never really seen him fight. He's never competed.
Well, it's not true though. He's had street fights before. He's had street fights when they've filmed him, they've timed, you know, the little time thing he did and everything like that. Yeah, he's had street fights.
Have you've seen the street fights?
Oh, he's not have. Yeah, you have whatchamacallits. Go to YouTube. You'll see like the demonstrations and stuff like that.
The demonstrations. The demonstrations, though. You know what I mean, I don't think that I don't think he's a bad fighter, but the way he's perceived as being like he could beat up the whole world, I just don't think. In other words, what you see,
I don't believe so either.
What you see in those movies, I don't think could be applicable to real life. In other words,
no. Well, but 90% of the things you see in movies today are not applicable in real life.
Like, do I think he could beat Mike Tyson in a street fight? John Jones in a street fight? Do I think
they're
he can
much
beat?
bigger
I don't
guys.
I don't think he can. But
no, but I could argue this: without Bruce Lee, is there really a mixed martial arts? Now, you had Gene LaBelle, who did jiu-jitsu, and he used to do grappling and everything like that. You had Gene LaBelle, who did all this stuff, who promoted, mixed martial arts back in the day. I get it.
Yeah.
Wasn't called that back in the day, but, he promoted all these different styles. Bruce Lee learned from him. And then Bruce Lee, you could argue, was more popular than Gene LaBelle. I don't think there's any question.
Yeah.
Taught Chuck Norris, taught Ronda, taught all these people,
I don't think the Gracies get enough credit for what they've done for
100%
MMA.
they don't. 100% they don't.
So if you're going to ask me who do I think is more should get more credit, Bruce Lee or the Gracies, I'm going to say the Gracies, in my opinion.
Well, the Gracies have certainly done more for martial arts in our lifetime. But I think Bruce Lee was what Gracies were back then in his lifetime. You know what I mean? He was like the Gracies were in that sense. Now, was he more effective than the Gracies? 100% no. Absolutely not.
Yeah,
but again, this goes back to my original arguments where people back in the 60s, boxers back in the 60s, the 20s, the 30s, whatever you want to say, are not better than the boxers today. And the same thing goes with fighting in general. No fighter back in the day is better than your top level guys today. Just is.
So Tyson Fury would beat Muhammad Ali then?
Tyson Fury would absolutely beat Muhammad Ali.
You wouldn't say it when you wouldn't say.
I would not say it. No, because we take it as it is. But no,
you wouldn't do it during the tournament.
Absolutely not. But
Beeb gets another win.
Only 6 months later. Athletes get bigger, stronger, and faster and more skilled as they get older. As generations go on, it doesn't go the other way.
Do you think Sugar Ray Leonard would beat Errol Spence at welterweight?
I don't think Sugar Ray Leonard would beat Zab Judah at welterweight.
Wow. Okay.
Different eras, man. Different eras.
All right.
And no, Sugar Ray would not beat Floyd Mayweather or Errol Spence.
Okay.
Pernell Whitaker would not beat Floyd Mayweather.
That probably I would favor Floyd against Pernell Whitaker, yeah.
It's one of those things. I wouldn't favor Pacquiao against, or I would favor Pacquiao against Sugar Ray Leonard. It's just they're different eras. The guy, again, when you have this era, anybody from this era will beat anybody from that era. They get, again, bigger, stronger, faster. Just is more skillful.
Would you pick Oscar De La Hoya over Errol Spence?
No. No. Errol Spence, 100%. Zab, Eric. Zab. I'm telling you, Zab.
People forget how good Zab was. Zab
was a killer, man. Zab was a good fighter. And
Zab,
I'll tell you this. Zab was every bit as fast as Sugar Ray was. He wasn't as flashy as Sugar Ray, but I'll tell you what, prime Zab was every bit as quick as Sugar Ray was. Yeah. Did he have the chin of Sugar Ray? No. Did he have, some of the intent, the speed, the showmanship? No. Boxing ability, though?
I got a great one for you.
Yeah.
Who wins in a real fight? Chuck Norris or Bruce Lee?
Bruce Lee.
I'm going with Chuck Norris.
Bruce Lee.
Norris.
You bring up a point here. I tell you, you bring up a point here, and I'm tell you why. It may go Chuck Norris's way because Chuck Norris competed.
That's what I'm saying.
Chuck Norris competed, and that's a big deal.
And he knew more.
That's a big deal.
He was a kickboxer, and he knew Taekwondo.
He also trained in jiu-jitsu.
He also knew judo.
Yeah.
And he was.
But so did Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee knew all that stuff too. Bruce Lee knew judo. Bruce Lee knew, the jiu-jitsu from Gene LaBelle, the wrestling from Gene LaBelle.
But I think
but he wasn't. Was he at high level? In those arts, probably not.
Chuck Norris,
not as high as Chuck Norris.
Yeah, Chuck Norris was more proficient in those arts than he was.
Yeah, you know what? I think I might have to agree with you. Just the fact on the competition, he's had more fights than Bruce Lee. I think he's had more fights than Bruce Lee.
I love
Chuck Norris too. Yeah, how can you not like Chuck Norris?
I'm gonna go with Chuck Norris in that. Now, if Bruce Lee fought Steven Seagal, I would pick Bruce Lee. I don't like Steven Seagal.
God, yeah, I would pick
Bruce Lee versus Jean-Claude Van Damme. I would pick Bruce Lee.
Yeah, I think so. But
Bruce Lee versus Jeff Speakman, that's a pick 'em.
Yeah, Jeff Speakman, you got it. Jeff Speakman, come on, dude. Come on, son. What about Eric Robertson, best of the best? Does he beat him? Does he beat Eric Robertson, best of the best?
Pop it, Tommy, pop it. Remember he popped his shoulder out? That was the best. Tommy, pop it.
Pop it.
Who's the other guy that I like? The guy that was in that movie. He's got the little ponytail. How's that guy's that Chinese guy's name?
Tong Po, wasn't it?
No, the little guy.
Tong Po. What did remember the little guy's name? Bloodsport.
Jet Li. I love Jet Li. What about Jet Li?
Dude, have you seen him lately? He looks like he's 100 years old.
Oh, he's old now, huh? Yeah, he is old.
He was old then. He was like, remember when you first saw him, right? He was on
What about Donnie Yen? What about Donnie Yen?
Oh man, get out of here.
Does that the Ip Man? Remember the Ip Man?
Yeah. Nah. Who do you think wins? Bruce Lee or Ralph Macchio? The Karate Kid. Original Karate Kid, baby.
Can he use the crane kick or not?
Yes.
If he can use the crane kick, I would go with Ralph Macchio. There's no defense for the crane kick.
No, you can't. You can't defend against the crane kick. What about Johnny Lawrence?
He's like Teo, man. He's too mentally fucked in the head.
Yeah, that could be. All right. Go to the phones one last time. 805. 805, you're live.
Yeah, I'm right here.
What's up?
Hello. How's it going, gentlemen?
Good, man. Good.
You guys hear me?
Yes.
I just wanted to clarify the Bruce Lee high jump. You guys talk about Bruce Lee like he has a resume. He don't.
No, not me. Not me. I said he was overrated.
Wow,
I said Bruce Lee was overrated.
No.
I didn't see him need to trample over his grave. I mean, geez. I mean, I'm trying to, trying to remember the guy in a good light. You're over here trampling on his grave, man.
No, because we need to be intellectually honest. Willie Pep. Willie Pep, he's a boxer. We have footage of him. Sugar Ray Robinson, we have footage of him. Bruce Lee denied footage of his matches.
I don't know.
What do you think about that?
I don't know.
I agree with the caller, man.
You agree with the caller because he agrees with you?
I agree with Beeb. Yeah, I called in for a reason, and I wanted to bring up Donnie Yen, but Beeb beat me to it.
Did you guys?
Donnie Yen, basically Bruce Lee 2.0.
Okay, first of all, let me just start here. You guys remember what was it? What was that movie, Beeb, with Bruce Lee? Enter the Dragon. Enter the Dragon. When he went and freed all those, and he had to fight off all those guards. He had to fight over 100 guards.
Yeah,
Beeb?
but that's in a movie. That's not real.
He did that on his own.
Let me tell you this. I'm going to use an example.
Yeah, but that was scripted with Donnie Yen.
Listen to this. Listen to this example I'm going to use.
Donnie Yen did that with 30 guys, though.
Yeah, but that was scripted, though.
Watch this, caller. We're gonna. What's your name, by the way, sir? I don't want to call you caller. What's your name?
This is Amok PvP in the chat.
Omar.
Amok.
Okay, Amok.
No, Amok.
Now, let's look at. We're gonna take two movies. We're gonna take the Warriors. We're gonna take the Warriors, and we're gonna take the Warriors, right?
Oh, what about the Furies and the Warriors?
And then we're gonna take Enter the Dragon, right?
Yeah.
So you remember in Enter the Dragon, Eric's telling he freed all those guys, right? So everyone's coming to attack Bruce Lee, right? There's like 30 guys around him. And then Mr. Han is going, Chang-Ying, go! And they're only going at him at 2 at a time, right? Which is total BS.
Yeah, well, I don't know that it was. There was a lot of them.
Remember in the Warriors?
I think it might be called the Fog of War.
Well, let me finish. This is key. This is key. Let me finish. Remember in the Warriors, right? When Cleon, when the guy goes, There he is. He's the one.
That wasn't
He shot
Cleon.
Cyrus. No,
They were yelling at Cleon.
No, they were
I don't
yelling. They
remember
were
that
yelling.
part,
And
to be
Cleon,
honest.
Right.
Cleon was at Yankee Stadium, right?
No, it wasn't
was at
Yankee
Yankee
Stadium.
That was Yankee Stadium.
That was not Yankee Stadium.
Yes, it was.
Was it?
They did the conclave at Yankee Stadium
Because it was the Bronx, right?
Yeah, and you remember when the Riffs attacked Cleon? Did
Yeah,
they go
they
at
put
him?
on him.
Did they go at him 1, 2 at a time? No. In real life, when you have a crowd that's going to jump you, all 30 of them jumped Cleon. They didn't go at him 2 at a time. That's the real thing, right there.
Wasn't a gentlemanly thing. I'll tell you that.
Real thing. That's how it is in real life.
Yeah,
So
but
this
they weren't in the Bronx, though. They got a different fighting. It's like gentlemanly over there. In the Bronx, it's like it's a free for all.
He had 30 guys around
On
him.
that island, though,
they were
it's
attacking
a little bit
at
different.
one at a time. Cleon, he's the one. He shot Cyrus. All 30 of the Riffs jumped on Cleon. They
They
didn't
put it on him,
wait.
too.
They didn't attack him 1, 2 at a time. That's how it is when it's real in the field, Daddy. That's how it is in real
in the
life.
field.
That's how it is in real life. You don't attack someone 1, 2 at a time.
I hate to say it, I agree with Beeb on this.
All right, man. There we go.
But I also want to bring up the fallacy that people want to give credit for Bruce Lee, basically starting MMA. Unless Bruce Lee's a vampire, Pancratian's older than him. Vale Tudo's older than him.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't understand why
I'm not
we got to
saying he
give him that
invented.
credit.
Listen, I'm not saying
I
he invented
understand
it.
Dana
I'm
White.
saying he made it
I
popular.
understand Dana White gave him that credit.
Yeah.
I understand Dana White gave him that credit, but he did it as a marketing gimmick.
Sure.
And by doing
But again, I didn't want to trample over his grave. I'm just saying, I thought I'd say something nice about the guy. We were talking about Gene LaBelle, and Gene LaBelle.
No.
Like,
I'm not sure. I'm just trying to be intellectually honest and realistic. Intellectually honest and realistic.
Can
and
I say one thing?
one
We don't
thing
like
you can
that
say about
here.
Bruce Lee that you can't take away from him is Bruce Lee's Hollywood career is phenomenal. You can't take that away from him.
Yeah.
those movies were great.
You just can't.
And let me say this.
I mean, even me, I'm a big fan of his movies.
By Dana White saying that, in my opinion, I think it's a slap in the face to the Gracies. In my opinion.
No, the Gracies built the UFC. We know UFC without the Gracies.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree with B. That's a great point.
Yeah. All right, Amok, we're going to let you go, man. Thank you so much for calling in and just taking a giant dump all over Bruce Lee. How about that? I'm just saying, I was trying to give the man props. You guys are the one that shot him down. Look, man.
You know what I'm going to do after this?
No respect, man. Just
you know what I'm going to do after this?
What?
I'm going to watch the Warriors. That's what real fighting is.
That's what real fighting is.
I'm going to watch
the baseball Furies who had baseball bats couldn't beat the Warriors. Really?
Why?
With baseball.
Do you know
bats?
why? You know why?
With baseball bats.
Because they disarmed the bats and they used the bats and started. They used the bats against them. They took the bats away from them.
Stop it! You're embarrassing yourself. You're embarrassing yourself.
Come on, you don't give the Warriors any credit. They took the bats away from the Furies.
The baseball Furies. The baseball Furies, son.
And what did Ajax? What did Ajax say?
All he had to do was swing that bat.
Ajax
All he
said
had to
they
do
were,
was swing it.
They were wimps.
Ajax said that about everybody.
They were wimps.
Ajax got taken down by that broad in the park. Took him square down, son. Cuffed him and everything.
That was entrapment. In today's day and age,
they cuffed him and
that's
everything,
entrapment.
son.
That was entrapment.
Cuffed him and everything.
She hit it on him, man. She hit on him.
Yeah, she sure did, didn't she?
That was a punani trap. You can't do that.
Oh, stop it. What's the matter with you? It's a family show. All right, that'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Joe Habib on Twitter at jhabib1. Find our YouTube channel at ringsidereporterlive.com. You can find me on Twitter at ringside73. And we will see you guys next week.